Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is BronzeLeagueGaming, and I am bringing you another Starcraft 2 replay. I guess I should go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Phobos, and like I said, I'm with BronzeLeagueGaming. Here we got a replay of Amitk as the Red Protoss. I actually looked up and figured out how to pronounce his name. You know, he did send me an email, and I went through my old emails and found it on how to pronounce it. Anyway, we have the Red Protoss, Amitk, in the bottom left-hand corner of Xel'Naga Caverns, and then his opponent is Idan as the Blue Terran in the top right corner. Alright, and both players are starting off very normal, as about as normal as can be at this stage in the game. Supply depots, pylons going down. That pylon is quite a bit to focus on getting more Marines up at this point. Nothing coming out of that tech lab either, so it looks like he could have really waited a while before grabbing that tech lab at this point too. Warp gate research is about a third to halfway done at this point. So, and we do see a couple of more gateways on the way out. Come on, Fraps, pull it together. Jeez. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, see if we can cast this game properly. Do have a pylon at the bottom of the ramp here. You're going to make that run around just that much longer. It doesn't seem like a much, but StarCraft is a game of inches, not miles, and whatever inch you can use to pull yourself ahead, you need to go ahead and grab. Do have a probe here sitting at the natural. Looks like he's going to go ahead and go for an expansion here. He's going to kind of sit back and mac up his going to the long-term game here. Do have a lot of minerals floating for Idan here. He needs to either expand or drop a couple more production buildings. Looks like we are going to go ahead and see an expansion here for Idan. Going to go ahead and take his natural actually before Amitk does. Pretty telling in just how they're managing their resources individually. Now we see that Amitk is floating quite a bit, enough for an expansion here. There it goes. We do see that go ahead and start. A lot of forces pretty much all of Idan's forces sitting on the low ground here guarding this expansion. But then again, same for Amitk here. Both players hasn't really done much in the way of scouting. I don't think Idan has done any scouting at all. He hasn't done any scouting whatsoever. Then again, besides that initial foray into his base at the 2 to 3 minute mark, Idan hasn't done any scouting either. We just did see a scout drop, or a scan drop from Idan, so he is aware that this base is up and is warping in. So he knows that there is not going to be a whole lot of pressure coming off of Amitk as he tries to secure and fortify this expansion. Do have that initial expansion for Idan finished now. I'm gonna go see if he makes use of that. Come on. There we see the first. It's actually going to go ahead and morph into a command center first. I mean, morphing from a command center. My bad. Needs to see us. There we see the probe split going down. Do have a lot of forces sitting here in the front. Need actually to maybe put up a couple of bunkers or something. Do have the probe split going down for Amitk as well. Quite a saturation already on that mineral line. Third geyser is going down. 3 gates are up, but not a lot else. No additional tech. So besides these 3 gate, I'm gonna be interested in seeing what kind of tech Amitk develops. Another scan going down for Idan here in the main. Gonna tell that Idan, besides these 3 warp gates, I'm not even sure if he did see those 3. That was pretty good scan radius right there. Alright, it looks like Amitk is on the way of a drop or something with that scan inside the base. But Idan and Amitk, pretty close. Getting them confused pretty easily here. Looks like Idan is planning just on macking back, making sure his opponent isn't up to anything sneaky here. Looks like the Zealots are going to go ahead and get to work on these rocks, maybe start taking apart for a third base. You have an illusioned Phoenix. Yes, that's a Phoenix. My bad. An illusioned Phoenix grabbing some scouting energy, but it was popped and then it sat here for a little bit, so it didn't grab all the scouting energy it could have, or scouting information that it could have. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and, instead of going for this natural second, they're going to go ahead and go for the gold expansion here. You're going to grab quite a risky maneuver, but equally that risk turns into greater reward if they can fortify this position and get this base up and running. A lot of forces here in this little ball here. Almost everything. I'd actually be very wary of a drop at this point. Pretty much completely undefended. We see a single factory at this point, a couple of a sensor tower actually going up. In fact, instead of the traditional missile turrets, do see that starport finally on the way out. Engineering bay is finished as well. And it looks like we're going to see a second factory on the low ground here. Pretty mech heavy. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty mechanical army here. Another sensor tower here on the fringe of the natural. This sensor tower is a little bit unprotected. Do have another Phoenix on the way out. Does grab some more scouting information, and there it pops. Alright. And both orbital commands are starting to develop a little bit of energy. Amitk is going to go ahead and take this third at this point in time. He needs to invest in some more production buildings. There we see robotics facility going down and a couple more gateways. This is completely walled off now, and we do see him switching over to warp gates. He's doing. He's going to start being able to dump quite a bit of this floating money really quickly, actually, with the addition of these 2 gates and that robo facility. Then again, he is starting up on 3 bases. That third base is a gold, so I would say he's probably safe in dropping quite a few more, maybe 3 or 4 more gateways or another robo facility, maybe even a Stargate. Truth be told, though, Idan is the one that needs to start spending money. He's got a lot of production buildings that are just sitting here. None of his production buildings are hotkeyed, actually. He's got the orbital commands to 4, but that's about it. That's going to slow him down quite a bit. He's got the factory, supply depots, and barracks here on this first one. And there we go. So I guess I don't know what I'm talking about when I say he doesn't have them hotkeyed. They are all hotkeyed. 7, 6, 7, and 8. I wonder why he stuck it on 6 rather than 5. Anyway, he does have pretty good vision here. It's going to be really hard to sneak up on Idan here with those sensor towers, making so much, granting him so much map control. Now, then again, we do have this probe sitting here at the Zelnaga tower, and that's grabbing quite a bit of vision for Amitk here. We do see a scan just get dropped for Idan. He's going to scout out this gold base, and if Idan's smart, he's going to realize he needs to do something, either drive here at home in the main base, maybe shut some stuff down, get stuff to move away from this front position, but he needs to do something about this gold base, or he needs to slow down his opponent's mining capabilities real quick here. Do have another pylon going out. Thought that was a little more exciting. Where it looks like we're going to start cranking out some Thors here for Idan here. We do see 2 in the production tab, as well as Terran vehicle weapons on the way out, which means he has built an armory, but is not investing in any kind of infantry weapons. I would say right now his production tree, his tech tree, is a little top heavy. Needs a couple more barracks to support the all the heavy machinery he's pumping out. It takes a good minute at least to build one of these Thors, and they're great and all, but sheer numbers are going to overwhelm these Thors pretty easily. Do have a couple of Immortal on the way out now. I don't know if he's scouted those Thors or not. Looks like we do have another Phoenix here, and it is going to get chased away. We have a 3rd sensor tower. Holy cow. 3rd sensor tower here is going to go ahead and bring this 3rd base into that sensor net. Holy cow, I think that's a little bit overkill. Do have dual factories, but one of them's just sitting here. Once again, I gotta say, I gotta work on some of these base mechanics, get these production buildings producing, and get those engineering bays engineering. Jeez. We do see 2 forges up for Amitk, and both of them are cranking away. Both of them are actually chrono boost at this point. Looks like he may be going for a level 2 timing attack here. Did have a Colossus on the way out, which means he is starting to produce Colossi, which is very interesting against a mech-based army. Seeing a lot of mech come out of here. Not very many infantry, which is what the large confrontation. Sorry, I missed all the Starcraft movement across the map, but Amitk goes ahead and just shuts down this 3rd base without any kind of retaliation from Idan. Oh my goodness. I think that was a big mistake. I can understand not wanting to engage at that point. Actually, no, I can't. He should have been able to mop up that many stalkers pretty handily, actually. With Thor's able to soak up quite a bit of damage and deal an astronomical amount in return. 66 damage in attack, because they have 33 and then 2 hammers. Plus all the Marines and Marauders in this mix. Now the Marauders don't have concussive shell, but it is starting the research now. Do have those weapon upgrades have finished, so let's see if Amitk starts to move out at this point. Looks like no, he's not going to go ahead and use those 2-2 upgrades right now. I would say, the longer he has these upgrades, the more likely the chance that his opponent is going to go ahead and grab them as well. Looks like he's grabbing vehicle plating as well for his medevacs, for his tech-heavy army. Okay. That's cool. Do have both Orbital Command's fully saturated on energy. He needs to drop some scans. Looks like we have another foray into this third base. I would imagine Amit's really doing a... He's not creating... He did create quite a bit of pressure with the shutdown of that third, but Idan has really stuck in his base the whole game, and Amit's really exploited the fact that he's been able to almost completely mine out this third base and start on his fourth here at his second natural and just kind of go to town. He's sitting close to 5,000 minerals, or close to 7,000. Sorry, Amit's close to 4,000 at this point. Both players need to make something happen. Let's take a look here. Yeah, Amit is at 200, so there's no point for him to be sitting around at this point. He needs to move out and make something happen. Oh my goodness, we've got a lot of money building up. Now, Idan is at 198 or 192 of 200. So their army counts at this point are pretty close, but we do see more upgrades coming out for level 3 weapons, level 3 armor. More upgrades coming out for Amit at this point. So pretty much that's the only advantage he has, because both players have astronomical amounts of money at this point. Should have no problem resupplying an army. Looks like Idan is going to go ahead and move out. He has reached that level cap and is going to go ahead. You see a confrontation going on. Stalkers are engaging in the front. There are a lot of stalkers here, though. Looks like I would say there's not enough. Those Thors can't get in range fast enough. But they're doing an awfully good job of just messing up this stalker force. Stalkers are getting absolutely hammered. The Colossus gets focused down. These medevacs are actually doing quite a good job of keeping these Marauders alive. And it looks like this massive push of Thors were just completely mopped up those Stalkers. I would have actually dragged in some SCVs to keep these Thors repaired as we go. As they continue to push. Just give your opponent that much more targets. You know, keep distracting fire as well as survivabilities of the Thors. But he does manage to shut down this gold base. Is pushing Amit back pretty hard here. He needs to continue to strike. He's letting his opponent build up quite a few forces here. Maybe engage right there, pull back, do something, but going after a fourth, he needs to go after production buildings at this point. A lot of cannons here at the front, and only a couple Thors here actually engaging. The problem with Thors is they're so big as they wall themselves in fairly easily. Those Thors are doing a whole lot of damage though. Looks like a lot of Stalkers are wrapping around though. And once again, looks like all the Thors are able to engage at this point except for a couple here in the back. But that couple is quite a significant amount of DPS lost. And damn it, Idan, what are you doing? Where are you going with those Thors? They need to shoot something. And oh my goodness, all the Immortals and Stalkers just cleaned everything up. And now, like I said, because of his top-heavy tech tree, he's going to have a bunch of... it's going to take him a long time to build these Thors back up. It's going to take a whole minute for him to reproduce one Thor. Now, he is producing out of 3 factories, so that's still 3 Thors a minute. But I think Amit's going here for a counterattack pretty hard soon here. Do have floating command center at the second naturals here. Don't know what that's doing. Huge oversaturation of this first natural here. He needs to get those probes out of there. SCVs. Got a couple lazy SCVs over here as well. And it looks like Amit is going to go ahead and push in. Idan does see this at the edge of his sentry net, so he is aware that there are forces mobilizing against him. Do have that probe split SCV. There are SCVs. SCV split going down. Right now the food count is pretty much even though. So, but these guys are 6 food apiece, so I think that number's a little bit beguiling. Nice engagement point. Offensive blink, though. Those Thors are going to have a hard time dealing with all that firepower right in the front of his base. These Immortals are going to go to town on these Thors as well. Those Immortals absolutely tear mechanized units apart. And it looks like he is trying to focus them down. Does get 2. Looks like he's on his last Thor. Does have another round of Stalkers here from the back, though. And the Stalkers break through. Does have a Thor and Colossus here in the back, and this guy actually needs to start shooting some. Oh my goodness, managed to take one down, but those stalkers managed to focus down that Thor pretty quickly, and it looks like both armories are lost. This Thor goes down before he even fires a shot, kind of misrallied at this point. That Thor does manage to take down another stalker, but we have more reinforcements as well as several colossi from the back here, and it looks like I don't think Idan's going to be able to recover from this. It's 120 to food to 50 at this point, 45. Yeah, this was incredible. This was a good counterattack. A lot of pressure came off of that. A lot of pressure came off of those stalkers and immortals. He almost held it off here at the front, but then those stalker reinforcements moved up from the other side and totally flanked that immortal. Idan decides to leave the game, and then obviously Amitk pulls in a little later. They did both say GG, so well-mannered players, gotta say. This was pretty. By the end of the game, though, it was obvious that Idan just had too much of an economy. Both players weren't able to stay on top of their money real well, but we see that Amitk, who was floating at about 9,000 before that initial engagement, was able to resupply much quicker because he had so many more Tier 1 buildings. He had so many gateways. Now, and that's what really pushed it, just those, after he lost all those Thors, which are great in such heavy numbers because it's hard to focus them down. But after that initial loss, Idan here was able to repopulate his army much more quickly, and that's clearly what turned the tide of battle. Because he wasn't just throwing Immortals and Colossus at Idan here. Anyway, this is Phobos, and I'm with BronzeLeagueGaming. If you would like us to cast one of your games, doesn't necessarily have to be Starcraft, but you know that seems to be our bread and butter here. Send it to BronzeLeaguePerspective@hotmail.com. Once again, that's BronzeLeaguePerspective@hotmail.com. And hey, thanks for checking us out. Hopefully we'll catch you next time. See you later.